people figured out that you can carry the ball up the wall, carry it off the wall while it's still in control, kind of like that, but at much higher altitude, and then dunk it into the goal at full speed. And that's just, we never anticipated that level of control in the air. If you had asked me to predict how players are playing now, 2 years into launch, we never did any of the things they're able to do.
Wow, that was so perfect. The timing of that was
I even hit
so
the goal.
good. So at what point did you decide that you had something that was awesome?
Pretty quickly. We were pretty young at the time as a company, and so we didn't have a lot of resources, and we didn't go right into making it the first game as a PlayStation game, but oh no, I got scored on. And we knew right away because we were staying after work to play almost every day, and we had this ridiculous now sounding ritual of 5 games of 5v5 at 5:55. I think our work schedule at the time was something like noon till 9 p.m. or something horrible. But yeah, I think that's when you know is when people are staying at work to play the game.
What is the full timeline of Rocket League from inception to now?
Probably we got to start in 2006. I joined the team when we were 3 people. 2 of them had been working on an Unreal mod that was essentially stunt cars. And then it became, in 2007, a car combat game called Crash Course. And then someday in 2007, one of our level designers, Adam Beckwith, dropped a soccer ball into a map, and it was just almost immediately, it was magic.
So you go from having this mod that someone dropped a soccer ball into. You went the PS Plus route when you actually put the game out.
Yes.
How much of a big deal was that?
It was a really big deal for us internally. We didn't know we wanted to do it. We had a lot of fears that what if we give it away and then everyone gets it that wants it and we never make any money on the game? Because that's really scary to like invest 2+ years of your studio's time making something and then give it away for free. We didn't have microtransactions in the game, so there was no way people could even give us money. I think in the first month people were like asking how they could donate, which seems really quaint now. But it's such a weird concept that I can't pitch you in the elevator on cars playing soccer until you actually play it. You see why it's fun. So I think it was always the goal for us that if we can get this in front of as many people as possible, it will spread, and that's exactly what it did.
So Rocket League has a really, I want to say, playful aesthetic. Are these toy cars?
We have a closely guarded lore that we haven't talked about. We can't confirm what kind of cars they are, or if humans drive them, or if it's on Earth.
Top kept secret?
Yeah, it's, you know, one day players will maybe discover the truth of everything, but we don't talk about it at the moment.
Ah, come on.
There's a lot of really good theories. There's theories that they have taken over the world and humans no longer exist. You can kind of see out in the stadium, there's egg people, which we definitely didn't do just because we needed faster performance than having people in the crowd.
Definitely not.
And the theory is that the egg people have taken over whatever world this is, and they use cars for entertainment, but there's not actually humans ever existing anymore.
Kind of like the idea that this is their version of Gladiator.
Yes.
And it's in some way just like sick.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you can destroy other cars, right? So there's a little bit of a darker element undertone in there.
What was it like seeing the amount of downloads you were getting from PS Plus?
Terrifying. Our servers were already on fire and down at the time. I don't remember all the technical details, but my boss's wife would have to stay up overnight and press a button every hour to reset the servers. It was like, it makes no sense in retrospect, like you can't automate this, but for some reason she had to wake up on an interval like all night because the guys would work all day and then they would sleep. So she would take the night shift of like keeping the servers like alive somehow.
That's crazy.
It's the analogy people always use is it's like rebuilding a plane while you're in the air. So you've already taken off and you have to reconstruct the entire plane without anyone falling to their death.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a pretty tough time. We were legitimately scared that we had blown our chance.
What do you think is the #1 coolest thing that you've seen that a fan has done?
The one that blew us away the most, I would say, people figured out that you can carry the ball up the wall, and if I can get the ball away from these bots, I'll try to do it, but they figured out they can carry the ball up the wall, carry it off the wall while it's still in control, kind of like that, but at much higher altitude, and then dunk it into the goal at full speed. And that's just, we never anticipated that level of control in the air. We always, you know, you hit the ball in the air, but not to the point where you're literally carrying it on your nose like a dolphin carrying a ball at SeaWorld or something like that. I think when we first saw that, we were just utterly flabbergasted.
Is there anything, like a small thing that was just incredibly difficult that you think would surprise people?
There's a really subtle thing that happens in Rocket League, especially for newer players, where even if you don't know how to hit the ball, the map is going to gently wrap the ball towards the goal to create shot opportunities. One of our level designers spent, similar to the car physics, hours and hours and hours trying different shapes and exact curve angles and just perfecting. This makes it smooth every time, and that was always our goal, is we never want you to get stuck, we never want you to be frustrated by, I can't get the ball to go where I want it to go.
Did you guys have moments of approaching investors and trying to sell people on the game, and then you have this sentence that you have to deliver to them about what Rocket League is?
Yeah, I don't remember like specific sentences, but I do remember we pitched the game almost as it released to EA in 2012, I think, and they passed on it. And you know, you go to the Game Developers Conference in March, and most of what companies do there when they're independent is they bring game ideas to show to publishers to get funding. It was always like sort of the stepchild that we brought in, like we had our, here's what we think publishers are like, and we also have this weird car soccer game, and they were never interested in it.
And what do you think the next 3, 4, 5 years of Rocket League looks like?
I can't say I can see all the way out to 5 years. We would love it if the game was still just as popular, if not more popular then. But the big thing for us right now is competition, and not just at the pro level, but we're always looking at new ways for players to compete, and we want to make that easier to do as, you know, whatever your skill level is. So, you know, it'd be great if, even if you're a bronze 2, you can somehow play against other people online in a competitive space that is a little more like esports than what our current competitive mode offers. And anything we can do to support that feeling of being part of a team online or playing in a real tournament or whatever shape that takes, that's what our goal is right now.
So for the 3 people right now who have their tiny indie studio trying to make the next Rocket League, what do you think is the main thing or main piece of advice that you would give them?
There's a talk that I liked from Spry Fox, who's an indie developer, and they talked about they can budget in 9 failures for every 1 success. And that's pretty extreme, and it's really hard to do. This is the challenge of indie development, but it's just such a difficult industry, and it's so hard to get noticed now that you just can't assume that that first game is going to succeed.
So it's funny, you know, talking to you today, because Rocket League was actually shown at an indie mixer that we had here at IGN.
Mm-hmm.
And we cover a lot of those games, we play a lot of them, and one of the editors here passed on writing a preview of Rocket League because he was like, I don't understand what this is.
Yeah.
And he says it's like one of the biggest failures in his entire career, was passing on Rocket League.
Well, IGN gave our first game a really bad review, so it's karma.
Jerks. But seriously, thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome learning more about the game, and I hope a lot of people are really inspired by this crazy decade-long story.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.